Yellowstone is fundamentally a story about family, land, and legacy. Landowners struggle to keep their property intact, Native Americans want to get back what they believe is theirs, while wealthy outsiders from big cities aim to swoop in and claim the land for themselves. The focus in this power struggle is on the Yellowstone Ranch in Montana, the largest continual ranch in the US. It has been owned and operated by the Dutton family since the 1800s, when they first ventured out into the West. And the current patriarch of the Duttons is John, who has 4 children. The eldest, Lee, is the apparent heir to the Dutton dynasty. Jamie, on the other hand, is a fancy lawyer working for the ranch, and he always feels the need to prove himself to his father. At the start of the season, Jamie gets a housing development project thrown out because they would need 30,000 acres from the ranch. That is only a small portion of the ranch, but the Duttons do not sell any land, not even a single acre. Beth is a ruthless corporate financier who works for a bank out of Salt Lake City, Utah called Schwartz & Meyer. She displays her fierce nature and smarts from the get-go as she corners an energy company and forces them to allow the bank to take control of the company. Beth has a no-nonsense attitude and she's always willing to do what needs to be done, somewhat in contrast to her brother Jamie, and these two do not get along. Kayce is their youngest sibling. A former soldier virtually estranged from the family, Kayce is married to a native woman by the name of Monica. They have a son called Tate and they live on the Broken Rock Reservation. This tribe has a newly appointed chairman, Thomas Rainwater, and he is one of the main opponents of the Dutton family. Rainwater is a realist. He believes that his people have to take initiative in order to take what they believe is theirs, and he intends to buy back every piece of land that once belonged to his ancestors. He knows the game and its rules, which is what makes him a worthy adversary. The other major player in this land game is Dan Jenkins, who is a real estate developer. He believes a hunger for new land is woven into our DNA, and that's the reason our species survived when countless others failed. To that end, he aims to turn the Yellowstone Ranch into something he calls Paradise Valley. His feverish ambition is noticeable from the start as he hires a truck to run into John's truck. John survives with minor wounds, but a big rig driver isn't as lucky. John searches the truck and finds out that it is registered to Paradise Valley. He puts 2 and 2 together and realizes that Jenkins must have put out a hit on him. Later in the episode, John confronts Jenkins as he's playing golf, telling Jenkins that he knows about the Paradise Valley's subdivision plans. John also says Jenkins owes him a horse because John's horse passed away after the quote-unquote accident. This accident is the very first scene of the show and it perfectly sets the tone for what's to come. As John puts it, everyone has forgotten who runs this valley, because this is not the only incident that threatens the Duttons. The other event involves cattle as a roundup goes wrong and the cattle stray into reservation land. A group of men from the reservation make sure that the cattle stay where they are, which of course pisses John off. Rainwater and John lock horns over this matter, but neither of them are willing to retreat because that could be seen as a sign of weakness. In order to get his cattle back, John has to lean into the Montana Livestock Association as they have a police force that is responsible for livestock, and John himself is the livestock commissioner. His purview doesn't extend into reservation land, but at the minute the only thing John cares about is his cattle, so alongside a number of livestock agents, he attempts to recover the cattle at night. John is directing the plan from his helicopter, and things get a bit hairy down there as a few shots are exchanged. John and company retrieve most of the cattle and retreat, but Monica's brother Robert is looking for a fight and shoots Lee, John's eldest son. Kayce then has to kill his brother-in-law in order to save his own brother. You see, because Kayce was living in the reservation, he took their side and tried to keep the cattle in the reservation. But as Monica's grandfather tells Kayce, sooner or later he has to stand with his people, and the natives are not his people. Kayce's actions prove Monica's grandfather right because Kayce chooses his own blood, Lee, over Monica's brother. This is a lesson for Kayce. You might not want to pick sides and wish to hang around on your own, but good luck doing that in the middle of a turf war. Kayce's character arc throughout the season will revolve around this internal conflict. Despite Kayce's best efforts, Lee passes away and Kayce rides into the ranch with Lee over his saddle. Kayce does not reveal his involvement in the Lee-Robert duel to anybody, including John and Monica. After Lee's funeral, John tells Jamie and Beth that he needs them and they say they are there for him. Meanwhile, John's enforcer Rip Wheeler and a new lad working for the ranch by the name of Jimmy Hurstrom set out to sabotage Jenkins's plan to build a dam for Paradise Valley. John learns about this dam plan thanks to his daughter Beth, and she was in town to help out his father because Jamie couldn't get to the bottom of this ordeal, and Beth did. To prevent this dam from being built, John has Rip and Jimmy use dynamite in order to move the river so that it no longer leads to Jenkins's land. This outrageous plan works and Jenkins is in awe of what he just witnessed when he hears and sees the explosions. He realizes he's got a long way to go before he can go head to head with the likes of John Dutton. We also have to mention the fact that both Rip and Jimmy are branded with the Yellowstone Ranch's symbol. This makes it clear that they don't work for John, they belong to him like branded cattle. There's a mafia-like structure here and Jimmy is a new member. Another cowboy by the name of Lloyd Pierce is also branded, and surprisingly so is Kayce. As we've discussed, Kayce and John are not on the best of terms, so John hasn't spent enough time with his grandson Tate. John wants to change that, and even though he's got a long way to go to make up for lost time, he's at least able to go fishing with Kayce and Tate. Obviously, this takes place before the cattle incident. Also in the premiere, we learn that the Dutton influence reaches far and wide. In fact, John and Montana Governor Linnell Perry seem to have not only a friendly relationship, but a romantic one as well. Governor Perry was the one who dismissed the housing development project at the start of the episode, and this gives us an idea of just how strong the Duttons are. However, the incursion into the Broken Rock Reservation land will make that relationship a lot more complicated. There are casualties on both sides and the governor will want to look impartial, which is going to put even more pressure on John. Add to that Rainwater's friendly relationship with Senator Huntington and things do not look good for the Duttons. Talking of relationships, Beth and Rip seem to have a connection from the past and Beth seduces Rip into her bedroom when she comes back home. This so-called relationship is clearly far from being stable, which is understandable because Beth is Rip's boss's daughter and she doesn't live around the ranch. Well, that about does it for episode 1. There aren't a lot of TV shows coming out this summer, so I thought I would rewatch Yellowstone and then I decided to recap every episode from the first 2 seasons. This is gonna be like a fun little summer project for me and I hope you enjoy these videos. For now, tell me your thoughts on episode 1, leave your comments down below, like this video if you've enjoyed this breakdown and subscribe for more movie reviews and TV show breakdowns. That's it for now, take care and see you in the next video.